Hey guys, I'm Shelly Salley. I teach at East High School. I teach predominantly photography, but a lot of times I can dabble in a little bit of drawing here and there. And what I'm going to show you today is a blind contour drawing and how you can take that drawing and then you can morph it into a final product and how you can have fun with it. And the number one objective is that you are using your hands and you are creating and you are being creative. Some things that you need. Here on the table, I've got some drawings that I've already done. I have paper, and you do not need to go outside and buy a bunch of paper. You can use what you have in your house. So here's an example. All that junk mail that you get, that you just put into the recycle bin, you can use this and you can draw on it. So what I've done is I already took a couple of these and I'm going to draw on this surface, and I've cut off the top part so that I can use this part as texture. This is an old file folder that I really liked the green color, so I've kept it. And then here's just a various other little pieces of paper I have around the house that you can pick up and you can draw with. I'm going to start with the yellow because it makes me happy. When you are drawing, you could do a couple things. I recently have been drawing from the computer screen in all of our Teams meetings that we're having. So you could do that, and whenever I'm sitting there on the meeting, I'll draw them. And most of the time they don't even know I'm drawing them, but I'm doing it because I'm keeping my mind active and I'm trying to be creative. Or you could use a cell phone. And I know everyone has perfected the selfie. So I'm just going to take a selfie. I'm going to turn this to a front-facing camera, and I'm just going to take a fun selfie. So I have it on my phone. There's my selfie, and I am going to prop this up. Part of a blind contour drawing is that you are not drawing something so that you are getting it to be perfect. There's going to be a part of it that might look a little off, it might look a little silly, but you are practicing on looking at someone or an object and you are drawing what you see. And here's an example of one that I did of me, and you can see that it's not perfect. You can tell it's me. I've got my glasses and I have my hair off to the side. Sometimes I like to have, my friends know me and I call it a camp bun. And this is me having my hair up really messy in a bun. And you can see I've got it kind of crazy and chaotic. But when you're drawing, you are going to hold your image and you're going to put your pencil or your pen to the paper, and you are just going to draw. And the object is that you really don't want to see. So you're just going to plant your hand down and you are just going to draw. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw the outline of my hair. And I'm not looking, I'm actually using my cell phone to block my view. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to draw my face. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw my glasses. And then you can say, oh wow, and I looked at it for the first time. You can see that's where I started my hair, but it's kind of got some cool little lines going. I looked up and I looked down, so I'm just going to pretend that I'm not cheating, and I'm going to come back down and I'm going to add some detail. And you know you need to have eyebrows, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to add some eyebrows. It's kind of funny and it's kind of goofy, and that's okay. From here, you have a couple of options. You can call this good, or you could flip it over and you can try it again and take another selfie. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on this. I like to draw the blind contour drawing at first and then go back in with a marker. I've got a couple of markers. I like to cut it out and play around with the shapes. Or you could even go back in and you can add some of your features. And I'm just going to draw some of my features on. So here is my eyeball, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw another eyeball. And I like to keep my hand just nice and loose. If you're drawing super tight and you have these really restricted marks, then you need to just take up and you need to lift up and you need to loosen up. Because when I'm drawing, I'm keeping it really loose, and I am more worried about, hey, I'm creating a line and I'm having fun with what I'm doing. I'm going to come back in, I'm going to add a cool little nose, and of course you got to have my little lips here. And these are just fun. They're not something that I'm worried about it looking just like me. You can now come in with markers, and I have a red marker, and I'm just going to outline my glasses. And you could do fun stuff, like you can outline it just verbatim, or you can come in and you can add more shapes to it. You can make it thicker. I'm going to come in and I'm going to go ahead and color my face just a fun light blue color. And as you're doing a marker, you can use any kind of marker you have at home. If you don't have markers, you can even use an oil pastel, which are really fun. It's a softer medium, so you can manipulate it onto your surface. So I'm coming in and I'm gonna make my face super fun and this kind of wacky color. I can even come back in with another color and add some shadow. Again, I'm more worried about it being creative. I'm not necessarily worried about it looking like me. I'm going to color my hair a little bit of an orange, because why not? And if you have a lot of resources at home and you enjoy different medium, you can do several. So let me just show you. I'm going to put a nice layer of pink down, showing up as pink, even though it's orange. I can come back in with some oil pastels. When you're doing it, you're now just playing around with different lines. I can come in and add different shapes here. I can add a little more of a fun color of yellow, add some yellow back in. I'm going to add just a touch of blue up here at the top. And I've got typically curly hair, so I'm going to add a couple of lines coming down. And what's great about oil pastel, if you don't like that line, you can always come back in and you can manipulate and play around and smooth the color around to get something that you really like. You could leave it as it is and you can sign down here at the bottom, because I always like to sign my work. Or you could even take it a little bit further and you can get a pair of scissors and cut it out. And when I cut mine, I like to have a little bit of the line showing, because I have this, it's just this fun gestural, loose illustration. So I kind of like having that playfulness when I'm cutting. Obviously, this has got some abstract look to it, so I can come in and I can get kind of fun, and I can move out there. So my glasses are coming off my face. When you're working with art, having a visual story, that's important, because you are giving your art purpose. You are telling it is about something. And this one is definitely about me and this quirky illustration style. And I've got my glasses and I took a selfie, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to keep cutting. And I'm almost done. And so I have this, and I can now take this and I can lay it up against another piece of paper. So remember that envelope? And this is a perfect example of me repurposing some junk mail. You can leave it jagged, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to glue it down so that I have this. And if you wanted to, you could even take this and you could layer it with other paper. So if I have, let's say this is a scrap paper, I can even lay this down on top of it and I can play around with shapes and different colors and different textures. Or you could just say, hey, I like this the way it is, and I'm going to glue this down. Doing this at home, you can use a person, you can use an object. My goal as an artist is that I wanted to draw a person, a different person, or myself, one drawing every day. And so I have all these little tiny illustrations of me. A shout out to a couple of administrators in our district. This is Jim Means, and I've got PJ, both CTE, and then I've got Sarah Richardson, who's our building principal right here. This is from this morning's calendar meeting. I haven't gone back in and reworked them, but I really enjoy going back in. I used these markers. Let me flip this over so you can have some contrast. I used these markers that come in different colors, and I went in and I did some color blocking with my hair, and you can see my crazy glasses. My favorites are probably the ones where I have my big bun, and I can get super dramatic with my hair and play around with it. Again, if you are doing this, I would love to see your creativity. These are blind contour drawings. You're going back in and you're reworking it. You can do multiple of them. This is 4 on the same page that you can play around with and cover the whole thing up and cut them out. When you are doing this, I would love to see your creations. If you post them on social media, I would love for you to do a hashtag. This would be blind contour drawings, WPS. Again, my name is Shelly. I'm excited to see you be creative and creating with your hands, and feel free to post them and I can look at them.